You taste that, Jay?
Is that the taste of a sweet, sweet, sweet victory?
That's the taste of a sweet, sweet victory and sole possession of first place, especially after those Seattle Blackhawks helped us out yesterday with the win over the Storm.
Thanks, Seattle.
I,
What a beatdown. Like just a straight beatdown. And we were close in the beginning, but not by the end.
I will say
Not
I
by
was
the
I was
end.
nervous at first, but then when it broke open, and things
Yeah, I
were
sent you
clicking.
that text that you were at the bar. I told you to take some shots to get the guys going. Did you do it?
No, no,
Haha. All right.
no.
All right. Well, go ahead.
My
Get
more
us into it.
my
Get us
moral
intro.
support is enough, Jay. All right, let's get us
Get us
into it. All right,
intro.
for our new listeners, welcome to Fly Shields Fly, the premier and only DC Defenders podcast. What we do here is we start off with the opening drive. We head into the Red Eye, sponsored by Together Skateboarding and Coffee, where we make some revisions from last week, maybe talk about something we missed or something new. Then we head into the film room, give our big takeaways from the game, drop our lemon of the game, and then our look ahead for the opponent next week, which will be the Dallas Renegades. And then just, to tuck us in, send us into our week, the final whistle, or as Coach Jay calls it, get it right this time, the
toot toot.
There we go.
Toot toot.
All right. So, opening drive. Again, I do not let Jay know these questions. Again, the origin of our relationship, our friendship, is having coached together in North Philadelphia, starting a team from the ground up. Go Cougars. So, my question for you today on the personal anecdote side is, what is your favorite moment of us coaching together?
Ooh. Yeah, you there's a lot of moments. So to spring that one on me is kind of crazy. What was it? 5 years?
5 years plus
5
this year
years,
is the
6
6th
seasons?
year. 5 years is me head, UDC. Year 6, you head.
Favorite moment, honestly, is the first win. The first win, it was the 18th game we coached. Started 0-17.
0-7 plus 0-6 plus another 4. So what's that? 7 plus 6 plus 4.
17.
Oh, yeah. It was. We were 0-17.
0-17. So that many losses, that number of losses is more than I lost in football from the time I was 4 until I graduated high school. So to be part of a program that hadn't yet established its first win was tough, and it made that first win that much sweeter. I still have that picture very quickly, readily available on my phone. After that first win, it was just like a ragtag bunch of kids that were really, really happy, really proud of them, proud of us for sticking it through and getting to that point and kind of turning the tide for the Volks football program. That's definitely one of my all-time favorites. You?
Yeah, I mean, that was essentially going to be mine too. I don't know if I've ever had a burst of emotion like that on a field, period. Putting so much time that honestly seemed thankless at times for finally having a payout was really special to share with you and the kids, obviously. But one thing I will say, and it goes back to last week, I think it was because we were recording at 6:30 in the morning. I didn't give it the proper attention. But you were trying to have a nice little moment here, talking about how I'm an impactful teammate in your life, and I think it just went in one ear and out the other. I didn't even realize. So I just wanted to say that that's my favorite part of coaching with you, is that we got to a point where we were just the ultimate teammates, and we could communicate without even speaking to one another. We could communicate through eye contact, and I think it's the feeling sometimes when we would have a moment where or a sequence of events really where we would just look at each other and go and shine, and rally the troops and rally support. And I think an example of that is the Big Man Bowl, having 8 teams come together, having their linemen come together, and we had everybody warming up all in one giant group, and just us tag teaming that, you handling the warm up, me handling the O-line clinic portion, tag teaming back and forth. It was really like, it could have been some sort of TV segment or Broadway show. Not implying that we are acting, but we are authentically performing. I think that's what
Yeah, it's def coaching. Coaching is a performance. It's definitely a performance based. You got to get people to buy into your vision. You're getting people to buy into what you're coaching them on. So it's definitely a performance. It's a real authentic performance, but a performance nonetheless. And that day's coming back around, baby. Big Man Bowl 2.0. Can't wait.
I've got to
We
finalize
locked
those
in for June
details
7th.
this week. Locked in. Well, we'll lock it in for June 7th. Big man.
Locking in for June 7th. Pop out. Come see us.
Get the Shields Up Nation up in Germantown at the premier lineman competition in the Mid-Atlantic region. Just like we're the premier and only Defenders podcast. All right, cool. So, history lesson. All right, so this one's a lot. So it was even hard for me to boil it down to where I wasn't talking too much. So I'm going to try to break it down into two phases. Okay, so we talked right off the rip, and I think a lot of people are interested in whether you are a daily listener or a weekly listener or a casual listener about player pay in the UFL. So today I'm going to just break down player pay. What was it? What is it now? So instead of just going through concretely year by year, because there's a bunch of different layers to it, I'm going to go from 2020 when the XFL came back, and transition to where we are now and what those differences are. Because I think there's a layer to the original XFL model that it's kind of messed up, but also fascinating. So in the original XFL, when it came back in 2020, we had an average salary that was guaranteed of about $55,000 per player. Now, again, that doesn't sound like much, but it is for 10 weeks. Okay, it's $55,000 per player for 10 weeks. And I see your face, Jay. I see your face, Jay. Okay, game by game, right? And you get paid more if you're active. You get a practice squad rate if you are inactive. But here's the thing that I think is not talked about enough or was glossed over and was kind of messed up. They had a whole separate threshold for quarterback quarterback play and pay, I guess. But they had a whole separate threshold for paying quarterbacks. The thought process behind this was to have a appealing league, you need to have good quarterbacks. And honestly, that kind of leads to what I want to talk about in the red eye, because I think the quarterback position is a mess right now across the league. Except for our guy, JT. So again, XFL, as it came back in 2020, players getting on average 55 grand for 10 weeks. Fluctuates based on player of the week, based on being active, but there is a threshold of being guaranteed. And then the QB pay was jacked up. We know from agents being interviewed that threshold went up to $495,000 per year for quarterback, which, I mean, that's a whole nother economic stratosphere of pay. So a separate quarterback premium. And the idea was that, with what I think is cool too, is that the league assigned quote unquote premier quarterbacks to teams. So if I'm reading the tea leaves here, one of the reasons I'm a DC Defenders fan, Cardale Jones, who had just been in the NFL, would likely have been one of those quote unquote premier quarterbacks. Landry Jones from Oklahoma, probably one of those premier quarterbacks. And then the pay went down from there. 4 quarterbacks. So you still had your backup quarterbacks likely making mid-100,000s. And then you had your third
quarterback room.
And then you had
the quarterback room is getting paid worth 10 players. The quarterback room, right? So if the starter's getting 450-ish, and everyone else is getting 55, that's almost 8 times what that's 8 players you could have, right? So if you're just looking at, as a GM, looking at allocation of resources, I get wanting to pay your quarterback more, but what are you able to fill that quarterback, the spaces around the quarterback? Like, what type of receivers are you able to get as targets for 55,000? What type of offensive line protection are you getting for
Yeah.
55,000? Playing offensive line, left tackle for 55 bands, the knee problems, the back pain, the having a full speed defensive end running through your face for $55,000. I don't know, man. I might just go sell cars or become an accountant instead of taking on that physical pain for a very, very middle of the road salary.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be
Damn.
clear too that there's no official XFL memo that I was able to gather. These are all numbers that are reported by agents to journalists that
So
I'm
shout out Coach Rob for getting in his bag and doing the research
getting my
and finding
history
these
down.
numbers for us. Thank you.
So I'm giving you like, and who knows? I mean, again, we're reading the tea leaves. Maybe I'm just throwing him under the bus because I like him, but maybe Cardale Jones is the one making. They had to pry him away from the couch or from the Bills practice squad, and he's the one that made 450 and everybody else was lower. But from what I'm gathering is that you had tiers of quarterbacks. It was everybody else made about 55K, and the quarterback room, your third stringer made what everybody else makes. Your backup, your co-pilot was making, let's call it 125, and then your starter, who was supposed to bring legitimacy to your team or what have you, would make up to allegedly 495. So that's where we're at with the XFL. Then, as you know, life's the pandemic comes back in 2023, and I do want to make that revision. Last week when I went back, we have Danny Garcia, Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and Redbird Capital purchasing the XFL for 15 million together. Redbird didn't come in later, but I want to lump in 2023, 2024, the merger with the USFL, 2025, 2026 all together because the model is kind of the same now and has progressed a little bit. So now what we see when the XFL had this base pay, bonuses, and then this separate quarterback premium that I think is fascinating. Now, and I think it's along with this shtick, United Football League. Everybody is united. Everybody's making the same too now, I think is this another extension of the shtick of the brand. But now you have players making roughly $6,400 a week for a 10-week season, so $64,000 across the board. Some of the bonuses include, which the player of the week, supposedly between $500 and $1,000. If you make the All UFL team, you get a $2,500 bonus. If you are a player of the year or MVP, between 5,000 and 7,500. And the real incentive of winning, and this goes back to the XFL, there's a serious incentive for winning the UFL championship. This year, if you win the UFL championship, each player gets $5,000 additionally. So, I mean, that sweetens the pot. Like you're playing for some skin in the game there.
I mean, if you're the you have an all time great season, there's $25,000 worth of incentives, right? You're each week you win the player of the game. That'll definitely put you on the UFL All Star team and position your team to get that extra 5,000 each. That's still not a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
So these guys are out here playing the game for the love of the game, which I think that shows. Like these guys are out here, and with the access we get with this league and the way they do the media, it seems like these guys are really out here having a good time.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing this. They are definitely not doing this for the money.
Well, let me add a couple of the incentives just for good measure. So they do. I thought maybe they would just get health insurance during the season. They get year-round health insurance, which is nice. Little unique thing here: their travel stipend. They get $55 per day for meals when they So you know how they fly into a city on Thursday. They have a couple days before.
$55 for meals for the whole day
for the day.
No way.
I mean, unless you're unless you're going. I used to have a per diem per day with my first job, so like I'm ingrained into it. Like as long as you're not going out to 5-star, you can make that work.
And no, you're not. No, you're not. No way, bro. No way. I'm calling it bull.
No official.
Hold on.
No
But
official,
let's sit on this one for a little bit.
no
Pause. But
official
like this
UFL
is
memo. This is just
great.
reported.
$55 for grown men football players,
I
right?
got well, it was 10 years ago, but I got $30.
Grown man football player. Whose number? Joe Wallace. You're not feeding Joe Wallace for $55. Big mean Joe Wallace for $55 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No way.
Well, come
No
on. What
way.
about a hotel breakfast? It's basically
No.
just lunch or dinner.
Come on now. All right. So fine. Let's
You
say
don't want
that.
your Wallace eating powdered eggs at the Marriott?
No. I don't want anyone hating the powdered eggs.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want anybody. I wouldn't wish that upon the Seattle Blackhawks eating those powdered
I
eggs.
might wish it upon them.
Okay,
But that's where
except
it
for Hakeem. Leave
stops.
Hakeem out of this.
That's where it stops. Damn. All right. So I mean, again, it's an early league. You've seen this with other leagues where the pay. I think we get wrapped up on what the NBA makes, what MLB makes, NHL, and for sure the NFL. But it's not apples to apples. It's not even. It's like steak to apples.
Yeah.
If we're really looking at the revenue that's coming in and the TV deal and all that, so I understand, but it's cool to have these numbers, even if they're not exact. They're roundabout. It's cool to see the economics of the league
Yeah.
and how they have to be different because it's a different league, same sport, very very different numbers.
Well, you said a couple things there. I'm wondering now. You got me thinking. I'm wondering one, like how much money are they making with quote unquote TV deals? Remember, they are owned by Fox now, so they're not necessarily getting money from the TV deal, but they're saving money from the TV deal, right?
Right.
So you got me thinking of that. And then I just one more thing for good measure. 401k, they can contribute $150 per week in contributions. Anyway, and it also seems like a trend is that players live together.
Mm-hmm.
So previously they got $400 per week per diem or $400. I can't remember if it was per week or per month. But anyway, they had a housing per diem that they would pool together. And now they took away the housing per diem and elevated the base salary a little bit. But anyway, I want to just, again, call back that I think the difference between the original 2020 XFL pay scale and what we see currently with the 2026 UFL pay scale is the shift away from paying quarterbacks more.
Yeah.
It's more balanced. But like, what are we seeing, Jordan? We're seeing
Some
bad
dog
quarterbacks
poop.
there.
Some dog poop.
Really,
Some dog poop.
that kind of leads us into the red eye. So I think let's just jump into that. How a quarterback last week was crazy. I'll start it off with the quarterback movement. Okay, our backup Mike Delello traded for Jason Bean, who was starting for I believe it was the Storm. Now I'm drawing a blank. But like we traded for a starter. I don't know if they're. I mean, Jordan's job's got to be safe, especially how he's been playing the last 2 weeks. Maybe that motivated him to play a little harder. I don't know. Then we have Luis Perez traded to those Seattle Blackhawks because they were in need of a quarterback, but he didn't even play yesterday. But like Dorian Thompson-Robinson traded for Matt Corral right after we recorded the podcast. So my scouting report on Corral
Right
backed
after.
up. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson played, and I will say the guy's got some juice. I think
so now that you're on DTR, you're on Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I want to put out the Hakeem Butler Glaze of the Week award.
Oh, do I get it?
No. The Hakeem Butler Glaze of the Week award goes to a player from the other team who just balled out, and it's DTR. He was impressive
for just showing up.
Coming in.
Yeah,
no, he showed up on what, Monday?
Yeah,
and played on Friday. Like he was making adjustments, and it's cool with this league. There's microphones on the field, so you can hear them making adjustments. I heard him call out, "Hey, let's switch this to snag," which is a specific route concept that actually worked. Being able to come in and do that, he gets the Glaze of the Week award. So DTR, I know you took the L, but played a good game.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, Jason Bean traded from the Louisville Kings, was a starter, traded for DeLello. But yeah, I mean, he played really well, was dangerous. I mean, through that costly red zone interception, just not enough to. It was enough to keep it close until the fact that he showed up on Monday
Right.
caught up,
Really came into effect.
caught up with him. Beer Snake Blake punished him eventually. Um, but yeah, this QB movement is crazy to the point where, and I just want to call a spade a spade. 3 episodes in a row. 3 episodes in a row, I've done a quarterback preview for a quarterback who didn't play the following week, whether it was because he was benched, injured, traded. Like, I don't know if that's a me thing or if it's indicative of this QB movement and a lack of good QB play across the league. I think I got to the bottom of it thinking about the shift away in this pay scale. Yes. Is this pay scale more equitable that everyone gets paid the same? Sure. But you're going to, what do they say? If you make the
Get
bed,
what you
you
pay
lay in it.
for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You reap what you sow. I think, it's going to be hard to pry away because you got these third string quarterbacks in the NFL that are getting a couple million, or a practice squad quarterback getting
Well, if you
450,000.
400,000 to be on the practice squad, but those spots are filled. I think what's more interesting is what the pay scale of even the NFL backup versus the UFL versus what you can make staying in college. Like you can be, I don't know, Quinn Ewers or like they had two quarterbacks on the University of Texas, both making fat stacks in NIL money. Why would
Yeah.
they come out? Especially
Shout
if
out to
you're going to
Randy
be a guy
Grovers.
who isn't going to go to the league and get drafted in the first 5 rounds. I'm going to stay in college and hang there for as long as possible, and then maybe I'll get on the practice squad. But if it's practice squad or 65,000 to play quarterback in the UFL, we're going to get what we're getting. We're
Yeah.
going to get this crazy QB carousel where not only mid-season, but like midweek, quarterbacks are going to a different team.
Yeah.
And it's less of a barrier to entry for them to do those trades because they're all in Arlington regardless. It's just which bus you're getting on and
Little
what jersey you're
handshake
putting
deal.
on the weekend.
Yeah, which
Like,
bus you're getting on, literally.
yeah, it's crazy. It's
Uh,
crazy. That's some good. This is the type of analysis that you're only going to get on this
I
podcast.
mean, I feel like we're looking at old primary sources in the classroom. We're training critical thinkers out here in the UFL Shields Up Nation. All right. Well, I also want to, I'd be remiss if I didn't say too, did you see the big announcement?
Oh yes,
The United
yes.
Bowl, which I love the branding, by the way, instead of the UFL Championship, the United Bowl. I think maybe like the Unity Bowl would be pretty cool. I don't know. Anyway, United Bowl, I'll take it, will be held at Rowdy Audi Field June 13th in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm pumped about it. I'm jacked up.
Yeah, yeah. It's been held in St. Louis the last 2 years. This year it's moving to DC for the first time ever. Super excited about it. That St. Louis to DC,
You mean
that
Seattle,
thing.
right?
No, it's St. Louis.
Yeah, but like the Blackhawks. Oh, so we can talk about the city
We can say
independently.
the city,
Okay,
right?
sorry.
So
Yeah.
St. Louis is where it was hosted 24 and 25.
Yeah.
In 26, it's going to DC.
Yes.
You know what else happened in St. Louis years ago? 98, 99 time frame, 2000. What was
You're
going
talking
on
about
in Seattle, in St. Louis football?
the greatest show on turf?
Bro, I think the greatest show on turf is now in DC.
Woo!
The Defenders, dude.
Got me jacked
So,
up, Jay.
for those who don't know, those who aren't football sickos, right? Those who aren't football sickos, the St. Louis Rams had Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Falk, Orlando Pace. They had just this offense that was dynamite, could not be stopped.
Don't forget the Seattle Blackhawks head coach.
True.
I don't even know it. Ricky something. Ricky
Forgot
Prohl.
him. Forgot him. Oh yeah, he was on that team.
Yep.
He was good. He was
Yeah.
good. But that team got the nickname Greatest Show on Turf because they could just put up points. They could score. They had 1,000-yard receivers, multiple. They had, I think, the most electric running back of that time frame, Marshall Falk. Kurt Warner was bagging groceries. Ended up as the NFL quarterback, NFL Super Bowl MVP for 1 year. He had a crazy run, and he had a decent career afterwards. But I think that as far as offense goes in this early stage of the UFL, this offense is electric. It's just everywhere you look. my favorite player. I think this is my favorite guy now. Well, I got two favorite guys
Yeah, we
in
gotta
the
we gotta
offense.
figure out your jersey. Hey, you talk about your favorite player. I'm turning the volume up. I don't want us to stop. I'm gonna go blow my nose real quick. Let it rip, Jay.
Ty Scott. Ty Scott, two tutties in the same game. Way to get it going. Player of the game, along with Galladay, number 24 running back. He's been one of my favorites. Just watching this offense come together and being able to beat any defense that comes across them. Since week one, when we only put up 10 points, it's been game after game. The offense is getting more and more explosive. And what did we put up? 45 points this weekend?
Uh,
This
we
Friday night?
we put up 43 times, I believe. I think the only team in the UFL to have done that. But yeah,
And it comes down to the guy who's in the center of it all. We have the best quarterback in the UFL.
yeah,
As I called that maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but as we're getting more and more film and more footage of these guys, and we're seeing all this quarterback chaos for the other teams and other franchises, we're steady. We have Jordan Teamu. He's even going to the coaches saying, "Hey, let me run the ball more. Let me be a bigger impact with my legs." And he's not
he heard the
he's not a
pilot.
Lamar Jackson type of runner. He honestly reminds me of Jordan Love with a little bit more power behind his
I
run,
I like that. Yeah,
right?
I'd say
Um,
that. Don't call. Yeah, we can't call him too mobile. He must have heard the pod when I said he was stiff week one. But
he runs a little stiff, but he gets the yards. He's effective. He knows when to attack a defender, when to avoid a defender. He'll lower his shoulder on a defensive back, but he'll outrun a linebacker. I think he's that part of his game just opens up the offense a little bit more too. So, it takes another defender to worry about the quarterback run. So it's like he's an additional blocker. There
yeah,
were some plays where he was able to do the read option, and like you have to have the threat of him running, and the defense has to honor that. It's just this offense is so fun to watch. So if you haven't been tuned in, get tuned in because it's the greatest show in Arlington, baby. It's the greatest show out of Arlington because they're all in Arlington, Texas.
yeah. I see. I was really because then I was thinking my DMV brain was thinking like Arlington, Virginia, like they
Ah,
play them.
yeah, okay. All right. I see where your
Shout
brain
out
goes.
Pat and Carrie who live in Arlington and who I stay with when I go down there. But anyway, that was a perfect transition to the film room. So you gave a little bit of analysis there that really bridges us well there. I'm gonna go into what I think were the keys to the win and a couple big moments that really got me going. So I have four keys to the win. One, you said it, Jordan Teamu. 15 to 22 for 275 yards, four touchdowns, no picks, and seven rushes for 33 yards on the ground. Just a well rounded game. And that leads into my second key to the win, which is our play action passing game. And I think last week we talked about the threat being those Stallions linebackers, Savino and Crowder. And I mean, just really focusing on Crowder specifically, they had to respect the run. It was kind of freezing them. And when Teamu pulled it, he was able to spread the ball around. So having that RPO threat really kept the linebackers in quicksand, kept them stuck, and allowed us to exploit them. So that was like the pivot I think Coach Keiss did there to
Mhm.
continue to keep the mid-level passing game open. And we really do. We have just a well-rounded receiving core, and every week it seems somebody else shows up. Teamu
There's
completed
so
a
many
pass.
guys that can step up.
Teamu completed a pass to seven different receivers. Your boy Ty Scott had an excellent game. Man, I love Cornell Powell.
Yeah.
Old faithful for Teamu, Braylon Sanders showing up. But the guy who came out hot this week, Eric Ezukanma, had that return right off the rip to set the tone for the game. And then a couple big catches here. Eric Ezukanma, number 13. So that leads to three keys to the win. And that's your boy Valaday.
Yeah.
On a day where Dion didn't really have it going, Abram gives you a couple carries here and there. Valaday showed up with 50 yards rushing for two touchdowns on eight carries. And yeah, but also key number four, and I'll let you go off on this. Our defense was suffocating, and specifically with big plays. The big plays I wanted to point out, I was a little scared here. DTR driving down the field in the red zone. Deontay Anderson with an acrobatic interception. Maybe, and tell me if I'm wrong, perhaps one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Garyon Conley blitzing from the corner position,
Yeah.
tipping the screen pass or slant, whatever it was intended to be, picking it off, taking it the other way. And then I just really want to shout out Joe Wallace. I gave, he was our lemon of the game last week. He had a sack where the pocket was just really muddied, and he ended up, I call it root hogging, just all fours, just grunting it out, going through offensive lineman's legs to heel hook DTR and bring him down. That was just,
Yep.
we just loved the effort and the grit on that sack from Joe Wallace. He just would not be denied in that moment. So those were my three big defensive plays. There were more, but those were my three favorites. Talk to me about the defense, Jay.
So this goes for both sides of the ball, but our fast guys are just better than your fast guys. Our skill players on the offensive side, our skill players on the defensive side, they're just better than the other teams that we play against. It's not that they're only fast; it's that they can make explosive plays like Garyon Conley and that interception. I'll even throw Big Joe Wallace as one of our fast guys. I know he's definitely more big, but he plays very explosive, and that is what defense is all about. It's being able to have that violent focus, that focused violence, right? That controlled aggression, and I think we're doing that more consistently than the other teams we're playing. Garyon Conley is just like, he's an insane talent. The fact that he is in the UFL is wild because, I mean, he's a first round NFL draft pick. The draft was just this weekend, and I actually sat and watched way too much of the draft because
Oh, I
I'm
love
a
it.
football sicko. I'm
Yeah, I
just a
love the
sicko.
game.
I can't get enough of the game. And that got me to thinking, who could be the Garyon Conley of the 2026 NFL draft? A guy with all the talent to play in the NFL, but things just don't quite come together for that player. And I'm not wishing that on anyone,
I
right?
was going to
Because the
say, it
pay
sounds like
scale,
you're plotting on a downfall here.
the pay scale's not, but I don't think it's a downfall. I think that Garyon Conley's taking advantage of a second opportunity.
Yeah.
He's 30 years old. He's a defensive back. By the time you're 30 as a defensive back in the NFL, you might be cooked. It might be runs for you, but he's having a breakout season. He's contributing to a team that's in the number one spot in the UFL, and he's still getting to play the game he loves. Paycheck's not the same, but I think there are a few players that I want to call out as potential future Garyon Conleys. Not the same position, all of them, but great college careers, drafted into the NFL, might not get their footing in the NFL, but have an opportunity to do so in the UFL. My number one is a quarterback out of Miami, played in the national championship, and was drafted to, unfortunately, the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are just a hot dumpster fire of a football team, drafting a number 3 overall pick to take a running back when they don't have an offensive line, they don't have a defensive line, they don't have a quarterback. Uh, Rough move. I think Jeremiah Love is a great player. I'm sad that he went there, but they also drafted Carson Beck, who I think is in the running to potentially be a UFL future quarterback. Hopefully, the pay scale changes a little bit for him. Number 2 on my list is Harold Perkins Jr., a freak athlete out of LSU, drafted by the Falcons. He's young. He's still only 21, so he's got a lot of time left to grow and develop. My concern with Harold Perkins is what happens with a lot of the linebackers and defensive edge rushers that come to the UFL from the NFL. They're tweeners. They're those players that don't really fit on the edge.
Yeah.
They're a little undersized to be a linebacker. And I think that is kind of the mold that Harold Perkins fits.
And depending
Again,
on the coordinator, that could be a problem.
the fit is so key. So that's what's fascinating about the draft is like you have all these talented players who made it from youth football to high school football to college football and now get chosen to play in the NFL. But the boom or bust is just so crazy when you come out of the draft. My last one, and I think this is the most likely because of his position, it's Tacario Davis. Tacario Davis is a defensive back. He was drafted, I believe, in the second round. Was it the second round? but he's from Washington. Again, young player, 21. He's going to the Bengals. He is a really good corner. He's 6'4", 195 pounds. He's got length. He's got speed. My concern with Tacario Davis and any young corner coming into the league is, are you in the right fit? Are you in a zone scheme coverage? Are you in a man scheme coverage? Is it the right fit for you? We'll see. I think that as a fast guy, like I don't see any offensive linemen, defensive linemen really being the players that go from NFL draft to UFL supremacy. Because if you're big and strong, you're probably in the NFL, right? These smaller, twitchier, faster guys, that's where I see that transition more often. And the lower tier quarterback, Carson Beck being one, Tacario Davis being another that I could see on this list, and Harold Perkins Jr. Wanted to have this quick little chat with you so that if any of those players do make it to the UFL, we can run this podcast back and just say Coach Jay called it.
It's the time capsule. You do call a lot of things, so I'll vibe with it.
I've been right once or twice. But yeah, our fast guys are really freaking good, is my biggest takeaway from watching this weekend.
I'm with it. I mean, we seem levels above the competition right now, and I just think our floor is so high with stable quarterback play and coordinators that have been here that it would take something freak to go wrong. Now I feel like I'm jinxing it. I'll just move on now. Lemon of the game. So I want to just two little things. Two tea leaves I'm reading. We've been discussing lately about how we're struggling to run between the tackles, and I noticed a couple times that really stuck out to me, whether it would be just penetration by D tackles in general or defensive ends spilling or squeezing or linebackers blitzing. Either way, we're not protecting our inside guys. So I want to challenge, and again, I'm a guard by trade, so I'm passionate about that. But our guards, Takeem Doss and Jahari Branch, I see a couple times here that we're getting beat inside, leading to really shutting down our inside run game, having to bounce it out, or there was a holding call. Takeem Doss got called for holding, number 96, just blew right across his face. And what I always tell the kids is, like, you got to keep your whole hip high. Your whole hip high. If you keep your whole hip high, right, wherever the hole is that they're running, it's harder for them to get across your face, right? So just little tweaks here. And then also, our boy Money Matt didn't have his best game. I don't hold that 62-yarder against him at all, but that 36-yarder, that's a chip shot. He's got to get that, but he will. He will.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
But he'll also, right. I don't even know if I told you this, Jay. I think I saved this for the pod. My real lemon of the game is, again, I went back to PJ Wellahan's. Bartender Tony remembered me. I gave him a sticker. Really nice. He said, I'll get this TV ready for you when the time comes. I was in heaven. I had the Sixers playoff game. At 8 o'clock, they turned the Defenders game on. There was this table of high school kids behind me that when they saw I was actively invested in the Defenders game, they start heckling me. I'm a grown man, 32, about to be 33, being heckled by a table of high school kids drinking lemonades, freckled lemonades at the table. Waiting for their mom to pick them up. And I had a moment. I'm like, why? Like, I am so patient in teaching and coaching, but when I'm out in the wild, I don't need that. And they drug it. It was like, FTC, DC sucks, blah, blah, blah. And when I would turn around, there's a couple of kids were like, "What are you talking about? What do you mean?" I'm like, "God, just own it."
Oh, just man up. If you want to talk that talk, let's talk that talk.
So anyway, karma came for him.
Lucky you were there without me, because I would have had some choice words that are not for the pod, but again, out in the wild.
Out in the wild, I was a grown man with a DC Defenders hat, trying to peacefully watch the best team in the UFL.
I might have joined him in the heckle. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, maybe it's the clipboard and the roster.
It's definitely the clipboard and the roster,
Maybe it's
like
the
you're in the
clipboard and the printed
booth.
roster that set me up. I haven't been bullied since like 10th grade, so it's like
Wow.
brought back some bad memories. Anyway, I will say this: karma came for him. It appeared that they were struggling to pay the bill. Uh, So karma came for them. And then when they were leaving, one of the kids, there was like 7 or 8 of them, one of the kids came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, shook my hand. He said, "Sir, I just want to thank you for not getting mad at us." And I was like,
That's
"Wow,
sweet.
you're a good kid. Can't say the same about your friends. Get on them. But thank you for this."
Hey, if he's listening, which I hope he is, uh, you are who you surround yourself around,
Yep.
right? Your 5 closest say a lot about you. So if that's behavior you want to be a part of, young man, continue down that path and see what happens.
Yeah. If you hang out with 7 a-holes, you're the 8th. Oops. That's what it is. That's what it is.
All right, my lemon of the game is actually uh it's a concern I have and I've had for a couple weeks about the defense.
Okay.
Uh we are not a good tackling team. We're just not. Like we can I walk you through? I know you're an offensive guy,
Is that why?
but
Do you think that's why we like the only thing we seem to be doing is giving up plays in bunches? Like we're giving up yards in
yeah,
bunches.
and it's not that we're out of the spots, right?
Yeah.
Some of these run plays, we're in the run fit is correct. We're in the right spot. We're tracking. So tackling is tracking is step one. You got to track the near hip, right? Track that hip, your eyes on the hip, and then you attack that hip, right? Attack that hip means you taking your shoulder pad, sticking it right on that ball carrier's thigh pad, right? And then finish. Track, attack, finish. Drive your feet,
Acronyms.
drive for 5, finish the play, right?
Pass.
Track, attack, finish. We're tracking just fine. We're getting to the spot. We're getting there with aggression. We're getting there violently, but we're not attacking the hip. We're running full speed into another grown man who's also a professional athlete and not wrapping up and not attacking the hip. So they just bounce right off and keep on going.
Yeah.
We have way too many missed tackles. There's even an article. So I'm not alone in this. There's an article out this week about the DC Defenders on Pro Football Newsroom. And although we won a big game, the area of concern, right? We beat a 1-4 Birmingham Stallions team.
Yeah.
1-4. They're not getting things right often. But when we play a better team, we've got to be better tacklers. We've got to track, attack, and finish. Tackle on the hip. Don't just run in full speed. That's something we coach to the little leaguers, not even the high school kids. We're trying to coach the little leaguers to have the proper form. It gets exciting. It's fun to have that big hit where you don't wrap up, but that's a risky play because you might not get that player to the ground and you look up and they're 15 yards downfield from where you made contact. No good. So that's my lemon. Let's turn that into lemonade this week. Track, attack, finish.
Yeah. Well, track
DC
attack finish
defense
in the
take it.
lemonade, and that one kid who apologized. Boom.
Lemonade sipping.
All right. Scouting report. The look ahead. Went in my bag of tricks again, Jay. So we are playing the Dallas Renegades Saturday, May 2nd at 12 p.m. at noon at Rowdy Alley. This is an important game for the standings. If we handle this team, we will maintain sole possession of first place. Couple deep cuts here. So I'm going to go through the connection of the coaching staff that leads into their offensive philosophy that I think is unique, especially for us, and I'll tell you why. I'll go with threats in their wide receiver room, consistency with their running back room, and then a couple defensive threats that I want to mention. So their head coach is Rick Neuheisel. That is a name that it's not one of the top coaching names, but this is a guy who's been around the block, is a very accomplished NCAA coach, a big name. He was at Colorado, he was at Washington, and he really is most well known for his time at UCLA, winning multiple bowl games, having a really nice record there. His offensive coordinator is Noel Mazzoni. He was the OC at UCLA after Neuheisel was fired. But here's the connection here. Rick Neuheisel's son, Jerry Neuheisel, went to UCLA even after his father was fired, and the offensive coordinator for the Renegades, Noel Mazzoni, was the offensive coordinator for Neuheisel's son, Jerry. So they are very, very, very close.
Okay.
So essentially, we have the head coach of the Dallas Renegades hiring his son's favorite coach.
So
You
this
follow me?
just sounds like nepotism. It sounds like a faulty way to hire your coaching staff.
Well,
It
I'm not
seems
saying
like
that's
we're just
why.
picking and choosing. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that's
I'm
why. I'm
just
just
saying.
connecting the dots. I'm connecting the
Connect
dots.
you listen. I'm taking the dots a step further, connecting them with a little bit more depth. I think
I
that they're
well, let me come back to
a little bit of nepo, just a little bit.
let me come back to Mazzoni because it's important. The defensive coordinator, though, Mike Gilhammer, really hard for me to find the connection here. I feel like there's most always a connection here with the coaching trees. He coached with Neuheisel for the Arizona Hotshots of the Alliance of American Football in 2019.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so that's just a deep cut there. So that's the staff. I want to go back to Mazzoni. Mazzoni's offensive philosophy that he had, he's been coaching for 30, 40 something years. I mean, I mean, just to call a spade, this is an older coaching staff. Boomer City. So Mazzoni's whole thing is having core fundamental run game and having a run pass option game off of that run game to make decisions easier for the quarterback. So simple route trees, but
Yep.
window dressing it, making it look different, having motion, having different formations. But again, the route tree, the system, when we have a receiver running out, we have a near option, we have a far option, we have a medium option, depending on what the safety does, depending on what look they give you. So who does that sound like? Coach Keiss.
Sounds familiar.
So this offensive philosophy is very similar to ours. So we'll see who wins out here. And I do think it's contributing to, I would probably say, the second best quarterback play in the league by Austin Reed. Austin Reed's a 6'4 quarterback from Western Kentucky. He is a D2 national champion with West Florida, then transfers to Western Kentucky. He led the NCAA in passing yards in 2022.
They had a heck of a pass. I remember studying there. They had a lot of comfort going across the middle, where they have defenders chasing receivers, which is really hard to cover, especially if you're a man coverage team, which we do a decent amount of. So look out for that.
Yeah, so he hasn't had too much success outside of the UFL, but again, he's playing really well this season, leading the UFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions to boot. Their running back, who's been with the Renegades the entire time, the entire UFL. This is his 3rd year in the Renegades. Day Hunter. He was a Hawaii player that transferred to Liberty, where he had most of his success. So that consistency, I think, is key. Some threats in the wide receiver room. I do think that they have a really well-balanced receiving room. And they have 2 guys that I'll classify as big-bodied, typical outside, let's call them X receivers or Z receivers, depending on how you want to stack your offense. Like that outside receiver, big body, possession receiver. We have Tyler Vaughns from USC. He has bounced around practice squads in the NFL, but he's been a UFL stud. I believe he won some. I think he either led the UFL 2 years ago in receiving yards or a former UFL champion. Anyway, he's really had a successful stint here in the UFL. Another name that I think you talked about, those guys in the draft that are highly coveted and they don't really work out. One of those guys is Denzel Mims from Baylor.
Oh, yeah.
He was drafted by the New York Jets in the 2nd round, big-bodied receiver. I actually wanted the Eagles to draft him, but again, just like you said, it didn't work out. Ends up in the UFL. He's had a couple decent games. Hasn't put it together yet. Now, our smaller, shifty receivers should sound very familiar to us. One is Deontay Burnett, who was just a Eagles preseason savant
Legend
for a few years. USC receiver, plays for the Eagles for a little while, bounces around, active roster for a couple games.
Here and there.
Then he was in the XFL, and then he has been a really impactful player in the UFL. And then lastly, this one having a mainstream connection and an Eagles connection, Greg Ward, former
Yeah.
Houston quarterback and an impactful Philadelphia Eagle, has now found himself in the UFL. So that's the receiving room. And lastly,
He's probably a very good UFL player.
oh, that's the
Quarterback
perfect
experience
form.
in college, speedy receiver, knows what the quarterback's point of view is, which I think is huge for receivers and tight ends to be able to understand that. So yeah, that's a dangerous room. That's a dangerous room.
I'm with it. And then I'll give you some defensive guys, Jay. Another example of one of these NFL draft guys. Okay.
Garyon Conley.
Taco Charlton.
Taco Charlton's on their team.
Edge rusher from Michigan, drafted by the Cowboys.
Ooh.
I forget if it was first or second round, but it was
I think he was a
round.
second round. Oh, no, he was a first round pick.
I don't know if it was late round first or early second, but he was on the Cowboys and just couldn't hang on there. And now he is on the Dallas Renegades defense. They do have a good room of edge rushers, so that's something to
Former first round pick, another Garyon Conley type.
There we go.
First round pick in 2017, 28th overall.
Yeah. Okay. So late first round. And their cornerback, who leads the UFL currently in interceptions, again, they play today, so that that.
Yep, that number could even go up.
Sean Wade, he's an Ohio State guy. He what did I write here? I crossed out Ravens. Was on the Ravens roster, then went to the Patriots. Couldn't hang on there, and now he's a big play guy in the UFL. Again, 3 picks through the first 4 games that could go up today. So we have a offensive philosophy that's similar to Coach Keis's. We have a well-rounded receiving room, a quarterback that likes to sling the rock that I do believe is enhanced or made, at least plays a little bit more safe because of the scheme. A consistency at running back and a couple impact players on defense, specifically at edge rusher and in the secondary. That's what I got for the.
Looking forward to the matchup. Like you said, they play today. They're going up against the Kings. The last 2 weeks prior to this, they played the Columbus Aviators. I actually tapped in briefly for one of those games. The first one they won, 28-23. Columbus was taken down by the Dallas Renegades. The second week, just 5 days later, so Sunday, April 12th, those teams match up. Dallas wins 28-23. 5 days later, crazy for the UFL. Like, that's just that. Where else does that happen?
So I was going to say that's a problem I'll probably bring up next.
We probably do need to address that
because that's going to be our 4 of our last 5 games,
yeah,
back-to-backs.
Back-to-backs. Sunday, April 12th, they beat Columbus. Friday, April 17th, they play them again. They lose 14-28. That's the Columbus Aviators' first win of the season. So it goes to show how hard it is to beat the same team twice in 5 days.
Yeah.
But during that game, the Columbus Aviators had a drive, an 18-play drive, 1 pass play. Whole length of the field, I think 90, 94, 95, 96 yards. 1 pass play. 17 runs, 1 pass play for a very long drive. When you're running the ball, clock keeps on moving. That was one of the drives that really helped them seal that win. Go up 21-14, I think it put them up, and then another long drive capped it 28-14. Aviators over the Dallas Renegades. So I want to see what they look like today, because if we can really pound the rock the way that Columbus was able to, and we can get Jordan Te'amu involved in the run game as a quarterback, I think we can put up some serious numbers, draw some players into the box, and then go over the top with our receivers. When we talk about complementary football, Coach Keis loves it. He loves the play action. So if we can establish the run and really open up that play action pass, I think things could get out of control for the Dallas Renegades pretty quickly, pretty early, and just another stamp on this offense, on this team overall, just being a dominant force, and maybe having, is it too early to say we might be having a home United Bowl, home field for the United Bowl down in Audi? I'm calling it here, calling it now.
I'm definitely superstitious. So
you can be all the superstitions you want. Go ahead. I'll say it for you.
Yeah. You've never backed away from making a bold claim, so
June 13th.
I'll jump on you there. All right. Do I want to say anything else about the week ahead? I don't think so. Um, I thought I had something, and now I forget. But no, you gave a great little prediction and keys to victory. So we'll head right into the final whistle, the toot toot.
Cool. Toot toot.
All right, are you ready for this one?
Yes, sir.
This is more of a question that I've really been grappling with, and I want to see if I'm a freak or not. Are you prepared?
Let's go.
When you buy a new piece of clothing,
Right.
let's just call it a t-shirt. Do you wash the t-shirt first and then wear it, or do you wear it? Do you wear the new shirt just right away?
T-shirt, is it packaged?
Uh,
So, all
which
right, I'll give you my answer.
yeah.
Packaged, no. If it's packaged, it's a T-shirt. Came in a pack of 3. Boom. Rip that package open. Throwing that joint on. Right. I do a lot of thrift clothes shopping.
Well, thrift is different. Address
Thrift is different.
because that's what everybody says when I ask them this question. Is I do a lot of thrifting. I get that you're washing that first. I thrift jerseys.
Right.
I wash it first. Tell me about like you got me that brewery shirt from.
Yeah, you're washing that.
No,
Oh no, I don't wash it before I wear it.
I'm not washing it. But a lot of people, and now they're like, I was thinking about this, and then
What?
Apple News put out an article saying how there are like harmful chemicals in these shirts that are shipped out or screen printed, that you should wash them before you wear them.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's, you know what that is? You know what that is? That's big laundry trying to get extra money out your
Big
pockets
laundry. Wow.
before you even wear them.
I
They're
don't
coming
think
for
I've
your
ever
pockets
heard that
before
before.
you even wear them.
Listeners, he just said big laundry. Big laundry's trying to get you to
Come
use
on
their
now.
detergent, or Aqua, the water company, trying to get
Yep.
at you. This is a
Trying to run you
deeply
up.
rooted conspiracy by Big Laundry.
Yeah, man. Big laundry's trying to get your pockets, dog.
What about hoodies, though?
No, it's new.
A couple of my kids, and I asked this question to my 10th graders, and they were like, "Well, what about you wear a hoodie and it gets all the fuzzies on it?" And I'm like, "Well, that is kind of a
If there's a chance that someone else wore it, right, tried it on, I'm washing it because other people are nasty. Y'all be going out, no beater on, no t-shirt, you're just throwing something on, and then I gotta wear it with your funk on it. No, if it could have been worn by someone else, I'm washing it. If it's a brand new, like, yeah, if it's brand new, I'm wearing it before I wash it because I'm not giving Big Laundry any more money. They've got enough. They got enough. My toot for the week is more of a less of a question, more of a statement, borderline a command
Ooh.
to everyone out there to lock in and focus on your discipline.
Ooh.
Discipline is a superpower. The way that you become more disciplined is just by being consistent. It doesn't have to be big things. It doesn't have to be a huge life change. Just a small one every day, over and over and over and over and over again. It makes you a disciplined person, right? So if you're someone who's not disciplined about going to the gym, but you want to be, how do you do it? You go to the gym. You go to the gym on Monday. You go back on Tuesday. You go on Wednesday. You make sure that you're not missing 2 or 3 days in a row. You can miss a day. You can miss 2, but you can't let 2 turn to 3 and 3 turn to 4, because then all that work that you've been putting in, you're not going to see the results. Why would you keep starting over? Continuing to start over. You go, you work hard for 1 day, for 2 days, maybe for a week, and then you take a month off. Then you got to start over again.
Yeah.
It's like climbing the mountain. If you're climbing the mountain, you're gonna have base camp, right? You're gonna have where you're not going any lower then, right? You're not going back to the bottom. You're gonna at least have that spot where your plateau is, and then you can start from there, as opposed to starting over from ground zero. So the toot from Coach Jay is just be disciplined, be consistent. It is a superpower. You will unlock yourself. You'll become a new version of yourself that you've always wanted to be if you commit to the consistency of discipline.
I will say, just because you are like a brother to me, I feel like I know you very well. listeners, Jordan Holbert's one of the most disciplined human beings I've ever had in my life. So let's try to think of little mini steps. Have
Mini
a friend
steps.
hold you accountable. I had a friend, I said, hey,
Big
hold
one.
me accountable to running tomorrow. And because I had him waiting for me, I went for a run. I can't promise that I would have went for that run if I didn't have him waiting for me. So little things that help assist in that discipline, because not all of us are your true friendly neighborhood Spider-Man like Coach Jordan Holbert, and who's literally has a costume in his closet.
It's not a
And
costume
he's
when
climbed.
you use it for work.
He
It's a
climbed trees
uniform.
with his Spider-Man costume. Yeah, for work. Okay, it's for the brand. Maybe
Got
that's what we
anything?
need at June 13th. I know you're out of town or something, but have you dress up like Spider-Man for the United Bowl?
Man, if I could be in two places at once, maybe I can add that to the superpowers.
Yeah, you're
All
close.
right. Well, thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, share. The listeners that have been listening, we shout you out. Please continue.
And please
Keeping
review.
up. Please
Please review.
review
If you like it, please
and
review.
get a homie to listen. Get a friend to listen with you.
I'll keep spamming the Facebook and the Reddit. Eventually, I think we're going to take off. I feel like we get better every week, and we're just out here, shields up.
Discipline is key. Shields up. Till next week.
Shields up, baby.
Peace.